What's up? It's your boy Big G coming at you again with another one of my adventures or experience as a Rikers Island correctional officer that went to jail. First, I want to tell you, please like and subscribe, hit that bell so you'll be notified the next time I come on here. And go to Amazon.com and get your copy of Corruption Officer, Perpetrator with a Badge. 5 stars reviews. You won't regret it. So I'm going to get right to it. A lot of these videos I put up here is to really enlighten and deter. When I say deter, especially deter anybody, young and old, not to go to jail. My experience is from Rikers Island, upstate prison, and all over. My videos is to deter you from going to prison. Anybody. That's number one. Number two is to enlighten you on the life of how it is to be a correction officer. Now, all correction officers are corrupt. Not all correction officers did what I did. But there's a certain lifestyle in there, and I just try to give you my stories, my journey, and my experience. I'm not saying every correction officer went through what I went through or lived like I lived. I'm just giving you an inside look on how it could be for some people. You know what I'm saying? So now, with that being said, when you go to jail, if you've never been, or even if you've been, I know a lot of people watching this video have been to prison before, and you give up your rights, well, not willingly, but your rights are taken away, and basically your life is in the hand of another human being to determine how you're going to live or how you're going to die in some instances, you know, and your well-being is placed in somebody else's care to judge you, to determine what it is you're going to be doing on a daily basis for however long you may, get sentenced to. Hopefully everybody beat their charges and go home. I'm telling you this story because correction officers are human beings. We ain't got no supernatural powers. We don't know all, and we're not psychic and stuff like that. We the basic human beings. A lot of us come from the same neighborhood you grew up in. So with that being said, I said that to say this. When I became a correction officer, they told me straight up and down, you're going to see people that you grew up with, that you know from the streets. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to determine, put them in a place. Don't let them call you by your first name, G Boogie, Big G, all that. No, you're Officer Heyward, and they supposed to know that. And you got to enforce that. I say that because there's a thin line between people you know, people you grew up with, people who know your moms go to church with them, like you have close ties with people. Now, the craziest thing in the academy, they told you that you can't be in a 50-mile radius of anybody with a felony. I'm from Harlem. Been all over Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, basketball, gambling spot. How am I not going? Family members. That's the craziest thing, but that's one of the stipulations that, they put on you to be a correction officer. I've seen people get in trouble for being in wedding pictures with their cousin. The bride and groom is in the middle. They way on the far end of the picture. Somebody got a hold of the picture saying, why you in there? And you know he got felonies. It's crazy. But I'm saying all that to say this, right? There's a particular story where I had, we have this female correction officer. There's a bunch of them who had this mentality, you know what I'm saying? And their mentality was, if I like this job, and they love this job because they feel if a black man don't do what they tell him to do, they got the power to get his ass beat. And that was their mental. I don't know what happened to him as a kid. I don't know what happened to him with their mans or baby daddies or whatever the case may be, but that's what their mental was. And we had a couple of, I'm going to say troublemakers that you as a correction officer, what it is when you on lunch or whatever, or you walking in the hallway, they got these bells and alarms all throughout the jail. They hit them alarms and everything. You hit, okay, boom, you got to go to the staging area. You got to put your gear on, to protect yourself, your helmet and your staff vest, and you run to the area to aid the officer for whatever situation is going on. Had this one particular female, every time you look around, when she was on duty, we was like, yo, something's going to pop up. Something's going to pop off because she always went in there with the purpose to start ish. You couldn't sit down and eat your food. Yo, is she here? I'm going to say her name is Thomas. Is Thomas here? Yes. You know what time it is. Officers didn't want to leave their post to go to lunch because they knew she was going to start some ish and they was going to run down there and get into a use of force or fight with some inmates over something silly and crazy. But this is the power that officers have. Now, at this in particular time, she kept on hitting her body alarm, and officers kept running, not me, but a whole bunch of officers kept running down there, beating inmates' ass, dragging them out and all kind of stuff because of the accusations that she said that they was doing. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of times I ran down there and it was the same individual. It was the same individual that, oh, he threatened to spit on me, or he showed me his private parts. Now, these are no-nos. These are no-nos for an inmate. You do that to a female, they whipping you behind, sending you to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? More mature inmates wouldn't let another younger inmate violate a female correction officer. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes people just mind their business. But this one particular time, we kept running down there, and I was wondering, like, yo, I know this dude ain't that stupid to keep violating her. He know he getting his behind with. Why would he keep going at it with her and this and that? Now, you got some stupid inmates that would be doing that don't believe stuff stink and keep on getting in trouble, keep on getting lumped up and all that stuff. So I was doing my thing. When I say I was doing my thing, I was hustling. So in the intro of me hustling, I got to know all the gangsters, all the gang members, and all who's really getting money in the town and stuff like that, meeting their people, they know me, I know them and stuff like that. So wasn't too much going on in the jail that I didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? So one of my peoples came to me and was saying, yo, she really got it in for this one dude. And I'm like, I've seen it before. I've seen females that really be doing stuff to get inmates smacked up and hurt. I remember one instance before a female wanted to get a inmate hurt. She ripped open her blouse and she laid on the floor and she pressed the button. So as soon as we got there, you know what we assumed, that he hit her, put hands on him. He's standing there, petrol. I didn't do nothing. It didn't help him. Right to the hospital. Yeah, we beat his behind. So word got back to me that this particular inmate that she kept getting his ass beat was her baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, because I know how some females are with their baby daddies. My personal opinion is some women would rather take their man out and beat his behind. If they could beat him, if they were strong enough to beat him, I think they'd rather beat him than take him for child support and all kind of craziness. They'd rather beat his ass because of the way the relationship is. They hate him that much. You know, some relationships just go left like that. But word got to me all the craziness that she was doing to this guy because he was her baby daddy, and they didn't get along in the town. She even got co-defendants. When I say co-defendants, other females to help him. Like, a couple of things she would do is, when his girl would come, put money on his books and stuff like that, so he'd go to commissary or pay for a phone call, she would take his PIN number and give it out to somebody on the other side of the jail so they could bleed his account out so he wouldn't have no money. Every time he went to go make a phone call, he had no money. Every time it was time to go to commissary, he didn't have no money. She would do things like when his girl would come up to visit and they called the housing area for him, she wouldn't let him go down to the visit. Now, she wasn't on duty all the time. She had Cody's. She make a phone call, girl, blah, 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 do this. And guess what? Officers stuck together. And she was doing him dirty, getting all kind of revenge on him. Now, my man that was, he was an inmate, and he had his ear to the street. Now, allegedly, she must have really had a hatred for this dude, because allegedly, she even supposedly gave another inmate top, you know what I'm saying, to go out this dude. What I call that is she put a hit on him. When you get another inmate to go and do some harm or stab or do some mess to another inmate, that's putting a hit on him. Whether you got a contract, you bring him a sandwich, you bring him something like that, you're putting a hit. You're paying him to go and put a hit on him. And she, perform oral sex on a guy so the guy can go over there and wherever this dude went in the yard or Muslim service or whatever, to get him dealt with. And she never got caught because you can never prove nothing. I'm hearing bits and pieces, but at the same time, as an officer, I'm one of the ones running down there all the time, jacking this dude up and everything because we hearing that he's doing stuff to her. You know, eventually, you know, he got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Eventually he went to another jail or something like that. He got up out of there. But I'm sitting there like, sis, you really was like that? And like I said before, some of their mentality was, if a black man don't do what I tell him, I got the power to get his ass beat. And that's one of the perks for female correction officers, for any correction officer. But I'm just saying, a woman scorned and you an inmate and she a CO in your jail, that got to be, first you got to deal with other inmates. And then you got to deal with the fact that your baby mom's is in charge of you. You know what I'm saying? Now, the rule says that she's supposed to, once she found out that he was in the jail, that she was supposed to go report it and get him moved. But if she's scorned and she wanted to get at him, she wasn't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to say something too. But a lot of times, they don't listen to inmates and they don't believe inmates because inmates lie on their penis and say they screwed the CO and didn't really screw them and didn't do things just to make themselves look bigger and stuff like that. But yeah, she was really giving this dude the business. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying this is another reason for you not to go to prison. Especially you from the hood, because most of our COs is from the same hood. You know what I'm saying? I got called out one time by a cat that I went to school with. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling somebody, I'm Officer Heyward. He said, "What's up, Gary?" You know, and I had to pull him to the side and look him in his face like, "Listen, in here, I'm Officer Heyward." You know what I'm saying? 3rd grade, Miss Eldridge class, I don't care where we grew up at. I had to check him and let him know in here. This is before I became corrupt and everything, because when I became corrupt, they was calling me Big G, from in the street, from in the gambling spot, from the basketball court and everything. Listen, my stories are to enlighten and deter you. And this is another reason why no one should be committing crimes and go to jail. I know it sounds corny, but you need to hear this. It's your boy Big G. Walk with me.